professionals don't lack expertise, they lack recognition. And just think about that. That's a powerful statement. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today with my next guest, Kevin Long. He believes that some of the most talented and experienced professionals in the world remain largely invisible. And that's not because they aren't extremely good at what they do, but they've never learned how to position themselves and take their expertise and shift it into authority. So Kevin, we're excited that he's here. He is the founder of Babysteps Publishing and the creator of the Authority Recognition System. And this system helps professionals like you transform years of experience into real, recognized authority. Welcome to Healing Forward, Kevin.
Thank you, Babs. Pleasure to be here. And hello, everyone. So, yeah, very excited to answer any questions you've got. It's just on the fly. But, yeah, very excited.
Kevin, I love your publishing company, and I know we're going to dive deep into publishing because I know you have so much to share. But before we do, I'd like to talk a little bit about your personal story, because you share publicly that you've overcome quite a lot in your life. You share that you've overcome cancer, and you've even rebuilt everything after losing everything in the financial crisis of 2008. And I'd really love to understand how that's shaped your life and your work now as a very successful publisher that's launched over 700 Amazon bestsellers. How'd you get from here to here?
Well, that was one of the worst times of my life, 2008, because I had lots of property and things. And then, as we all know, it sort of went all belly up, and I literally lost everything. And pretty much lost my houses, lost my cars, lost everything else because of the crash. By not taking the advice of 4 of my mentors who were very, very famous. And I used to have a big ego until that day. I don't have it anymore. But yeah, I made this mistake. I didn't listen to them thinking they don't know everything, but they do. That's why they're mentors and very good at it. So, but anyway, like I say, I had 69 pence in my bank account. I've never had credit cards and stuff like that. And I thought, whoa, what am I going to do? I was couch surfing for a few months. And then I got some VAT, which is a tax in the UK. I got some back, and I invested most of that money into a course, £5,000. And it took me 4.5 months, and I got ripped off. And I thought, whoa, now what? Anyway, one of the modules in the course was how to write a book. And I thought, okay. So I followed the course and everything else, and realised there was something there. But it was like, I'm a carpenter by trade, so I had to go back on the tools to obviously get money. But I started to build baby steps. I'd done a few books for people and thought, this is only Kindle. I started off as Kindle. That's why I used to be, well, I still am, called the Kindle King, because I started doing it for Kindle only. And then people were saying, oh, do you do physical? And I was like, no. And then one day I thought, why am I not doing physical? And then I just learnt the process. So I had 2 products, a digital, and then it went on from there and everything else. But it was about 5 years when I realised that I could help people, because I was always having a bash me up party, if you like, saying to the universe, because I'm a good guy, I really am. Integrity is my most important asset and my thing in my life. I thought, why am I getting all this bad luck? But then when I realised, I published a book for an 80-year-old guy who took 65 years to write his book, Martin Ward, and I've just dedicated my latest book to him, for me to sort of discover within me, because we all try to fix the problems outside. You don't even, because most of the time you can't do it anyway. So just fix inside. When you fix yourself inside in anything and accept 100% responsibility for everything, and it's easier said than done. I still struggle at times now. That's when things change, and magic really does happen. I'm not religious in any way, but I'm hugely spiritual, and I believe that everybody has a purpose, and we're all here to help others at the end of the day. So that's when in 2013, which is the 13th of December at 11:11 in the morning, a situation happened. And if you want to look on my LinkedIn, it's there. I'm very open about what I do and what things that's happened in my life. And then I realized, because for the 4, 5, 6 years before that date, I'm saying to the universe every morning, every night when I meditate, why am I here? What's the purpose of this? You've kept me alive. I've had cancer twice, and I've had accidents and stuff and things. Why are you keeping me here? And on that day at 11:11, the voice, I was calling it the universe, God, call it what you want, said to me, now you know what your purpose is. And from that day, everything changed. And then probably 12 months, 18 months, I realized I could help business people grow their businesses by writing a book. And you're probably aware, Bob, you know about publishing. You make very little money from selling books. But when I developed the codified authority framework, I didn't change anything I did. I just put a name to it, because like anything, when you explain something to somebody, they can't usually grasp it. But if you can do it very simple, they'll go, oh yeah, I understand that. So that's what I've done. I call it, the codified authority framework, because I take what's in here from professional people and I codify it and put it in a book. And that, and this as a whole system is super, super simple, but it helps them grow their business. They don't have to have cold calling, any marketing, any of that rubbish. It just works. So I use the book as a business tool. And that's it. And basically, I help consultants and business professionals transform their expertise into recognized authority. And like you said at the top of the show, everybody's got experience. Very few know how to put it across. And I mean high-end professionals. Because like anything, when you do something all the time, you're in it. And so, it might be, somebody can ask you a question, you give them the answer and you think, oh yeah, because you've done it all your life pretty much. But to them, you could change their world. So what's easy to us, if somebody asks you a question, you give them the answer, we just go, oh yeah, that's it. But people are going, oh, you're just amazing, you're amazing. You've changed my life, you've changed my business. And that's it. But no, it's always inside. It's always kept inside. And the idea is to get it, leave a legacy, put it in a book. I've had people say to me over the years, oh, you only say that because you're a publisher. It's in spite that I'm a publisher. If you want a successful business, and we've done it multiple hundreds of times for people, from doctors, CPAs, attorneys, I've got famous actors, actresses, Olympic gold medalists, you name it, the system works for everybody if you work it. And it's very simple. So that's all I've done. I can take things from people's heads, ask them a few questions. And I call it the authority gap. And what the authority gap is things that you know and things that people perceive about what they know about you and your business. And that gap is very, very wide. All I do, and I've got a free quiz and everything. If you look on, LinkedIn, you'll see it. It closes the gap. But when that gap closes, and I love this expression, magic really does happen. And you can go on, there's no, I don't sell, and you know that, Bob, I don't sell. If I'm going to work with somebody, it's because the universe wants me to work with them. And that's it, I've had a few debates with my mentors over the years, and that's how I work. I've got this company, as you know, a very, very high-end coaching company. And I just keep things really simple. So a bit long-winded, but yeah, that's it about me.
I love it. I was reading something the other day that real leaders, like real servant leaderships, keep things simple and have a system that's duplicated easily.
Yep.
And you've definitely done that. I just want to back up a little bit and ask you your opinion to clarify, what's the difference between a professional's expertise and the authority that you're offering to build up when someone decides to publish a book?
Well, again, it's back to the word, and I've really learned this the last 18 months, because I've sort of transitioned my whole company into what it is now, as an authority architect. That's what I am. Yeah, I publish books, but like I say, it's about naming things. When people have got the experience, and all of the clients that I speak to have it in boatloads, but they don't just know how to put it across to the world, not just the people, if they're having Zoom calls or they're in meetings and things like that. It needs to be codified so somebody could mention book publishing and they'll go, oh, Kevin Long, he does da 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 da. because I've codified it. And also with regards to business, one of the hardest things that I'm told is to keep getting new clients, because people come and go and come and come and go. But at the end of the day, the way I've never sold, I give away a lot of stuff, but I give away a book about me and my framework and my business. And well, it's this one actually, it's my latest one. So I give that away. So when people read it and they decide to book a call with me, the issue of pricing and thing isn't there, because they know I can get them to that next level. Or me and my little team, but I can get them to the next level, And also as well, dealing with the higher professionals, as I call them, they understand about that there's always a financial. When I used to say just publish books, I don't mean that derogatory in any way. It was always, well, how much is it? What am I going to get? All this, all that, all this, all that. But when you speak to high-end professionals, they know, because you're adding value to them. And if you want value from things, you've got to pay for it, So that's the difference. Is the expertise is what we've all got, but it can be codified, which gives you the authority, Because when you write a book, and our system's really simple, you can write a book within a couple of weeks. You really can. And there's dozens and dozens and dozens that have done it. However,
I've known lots of people who've done it.
Yeah, there's lots and lots and lots that have done it, because like you've just said before, I keep it really simple. I get them to sit down, try and reinvent the wheel. Don't do that, and don't assume what your clients want. Ask them. So the ethos of my whole system is, I always say to everybody, sit down, think of 10 to 12 questions what your clients regularly ask you. Because if they're asking you them questions again and again and again and again, that's what they want to know. So give them the answers. But when you've got them questions, they become the chapter headings in the book. So you're giving them what they want, and it's as simple as that. So obviously there's more, but that's the basic. The first thing when I have a call with somebody, a strategy call, is that to say, okay, where are you? Where do you want to be? Tell me some questions that your people ask you. And that is it. And the amount of times I've said, this is genius. And I've had people that don't charge for calls. I've had people saying I spend $500, $1,000 on calls and they don't give me as much value as you. Well, that humbles me good, but it makes me feel good, because I know I'm doing something right then, So yeah, again, long-winded, but hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, Kevin. I mean, it's a competitive world out there. And I find that because I've worked a little bit in the self-publishing industry, people have a lot of misconceptions, false beliefs. They have ideas that aren't true. And so I was so inspired when I met you, not just because of your company's incredible success, but just truly just the person that you are. And I think working with the right people makes all of the difference.
Huge difference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, it does. I loved everything you just shared with me, and I'm sure you've had some incredible clients along your journey. Is there one transformational story of an author that comes to mind that when you helped them close the gap, it clicked for them, and their practice got better, their business improved?
Personally, it was Martin's story, but I've got guys that have solicitors or attorneys, as you call them. There's a couple of ladies in the UK who they were attorneys and they wrote a book. Now they're still attorneys, but now they're coaches. And one of them in particular, the Law Society in the UK took her book as a standard for new attorneys coming into the industry. And she's been all over the world, Dubai, all sorts now. Hannah Beaker, her name is, she wouldn't mind me saying, and she's a beautiful person inside and out. The book's transformed her business, but I can't think, dozens and dozens, famous people, people, ex-professional sports people, because what I do is I get them to write a book, and then I build a business behind the book, and that's how it works. The book is a business tool. And that's how it works. It's not just as though you write a book, because people have said in the past, well, why should I come to you to publish a book? I can put a book on Amazon myself. And I say, yep, you absolutely can. But if this is your business, you don't get a second chance of making a first impression. If you're serious about your business, you need to do it properly. And that's what I say to people. Anyone can do it. Anyone can write a book. But if you don't have a structure and certainly a marketing plan in place, and again, ours is super, super simple, you're not going to get anywhere. There's more than, this is 10 years out of date, this stat. There's more than 9,000 books every single day that go online, brand new. So if you don't have a marketing or a structure to market your book, you might be all right for a couple of hours, but then you just gobble up and your book goes into the ether, and that's it. Where ours are constantly working for our clients because it's our framework.
I think that is one of the biggest differences. That's a whole ton of books. I was going to say, that's a lot of books going into the market every day. That's incredible. And is that why you often say that just publishing a book isn't enough anymore?
No, it's not. And you've heard me, as it says on my website, well, I can't remember because it's been updated. If it does start, but it's on there somewhere. It says, we don't just publish your book. Because there's thousands and thousands of companies out there, charging, and they are extortionate prices, 6 figures to get a book published. That just blows my mind. And there's a lot of people out there that pay it, it's crazy. But their situation, you understand it. But it's like I say, anyone can publish a book. And Barb, information is everywhere now. It's on the internet. But there's so much of it. But so it's just total overwhelm usually because people are like, well, do I listen to that person, this one, this guru, that one, and all of a sudden usually end up doing nothing because they go, oh, I can't do that. Oh. And you get a lot of people who are great in their work, but if they don't turn up, and this is a big thing, which a part of ours as well, most of us are taught to trade our time for money. But if we don't go to work, we don't get paid. And I show people how to get income without turning up. Yeah, they got to do the initial work, but they get paid residual incomes whether they go to work or not. And that's what we do. So it's a part of the authority framework.
Well, that's very, very compelling. And that's a kind of programming that can really help someone to make a legacy for themselves and their family and get out of the rat race. I mean, the book, actually creating a book and publishing a book with your publishing company is a powerful tool. And then you can use that tool to close the gap. But you can get a really good tool, but you have to know how to turn the key. You put the lock in, the key in the lock. You have to know how to use the tool. And I think after authors publish books, they don't know what to do with it. So are you saying that you help authors with the after marketing of the book as well?
Yeah, we basically give them our marketing system. And again, I had one last week and he's done it for about 6 or 7 months, and it's just regularly posting the ads that we supply him with. And he stopped and he called me and he said, oh, nothing's happened. No, I've not had any leads. I've not had any new clients. This, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, how many times, how many times a week are you putting the ad on that we give you? And he went, well, I stopped. I've done it for 6 weeks. And I said, well, that's why. It's like if you put gas in a car and you're going on a 1,000-mile journey, you're not going to get 1,000 miles in a tank of gas. I said, what do you do? And he say, well, you refill it. I said, right, well, your books run out of gas. Start putting the ads on again, like I showed you, once a day in 2 specific times. I said, and it's going to take longer now. I said, but then it'll build up and the momentum. And again, most people listen to this one though, everything is an algorithm. So once you know how to crack the algorithm, you really have, and we cracked the Amazon algorithm many, many years ago. So you just keep it going, but you don't have to go Billy-O. When we publish people's books, we give away the digital version for 5 days, and that sort of supercharges. And again, I never sort of disrespect people, but I'll say we know your clients, and I don't care who they are. We know your clients better than you, and we know who we're marketing your stuff to. So we supercharge it, and then all you've got to do is sort of maintain it. Just put an ad on in groups every day, once or twice a day. And that is it. It just keeps it ticking over. People will see your ads, and then they will go and buy your book. And some of them who buy your book will then contact you to hire you for your services. And it's as simple as, obviously there's things in between that, but basically that's what it is. And you just, as long as you do what we tell you to do, and we've done it And I know, again, I always say, if I'd have done it for a few friends and family, you might think, no, but 18 years and nearly 800 number one bestsellers for people all over the world in all industries, we do know what we're doing. Even though I've only got a little team, there's only 5 of us, but we all love and passionate about each little bit that we do. And that's it.
Yeah, it's very remarkable. And you are so passionate about it. And if you can enter that journey and feel the confidence that Kevin's got you every step of the way, then, it's the most precious thing. Kevin, with all the experts that you see, what separates an expert that chooses to grow and an expert that stays stuck?
That's a great question. How do they stay stuck? People know they've got the experience, but like I said before, it's sometimes when you can't see the wood for the trees because you just do things every single day. So, they understand you've got the experience. A lot of people, and there's a lot of people who just love the job. It's not about authority, but the importance is getting the book to give you the authority in your position. Because when you write a book, people, and this is research that I do all the time, people are saying, well, this guy has actually took time to sit down, think what his clients want, he's put it into a book, which obviously is going to leverage his business, leverage his authority and lots of other stuff. So then, and again, I've already repeated, I'm not going to repeat myself, when people find out about you, like you've done on my LinkedIn, I know we met before, but on my LinkedIn, just put it on there. It's like a massive advertising campaign for you. I don't mean sell, but just be truthful. People are more concerned with the results you can get them nowadays than any number of certificates, are hanging on the wall. And that's not to degrade that in any way, shape or form. People say, I've got this challenge, I'm here. I want to get there. Can you help me? Yes, I can. Do your due diligence. Let's go. And it is that simple, but I get a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't work that, excuse me, but especially academics, because they work differently. Their brains work differently. They can take the simplest things and make it mega complicated. Well, I work backwards. I like to have really challenging things and reverse engineer it to simple. And I've had people, and some are very stern, and they've got a lot of ego, which is fine. I work with most people, and I just say, no, it's fine. You don't have to listen to me. I've come here to advise. If you don't want to take my advice, don't take it. You will stay stuck. You will stay stuck. And then once they understand it and they run through the framework and they go, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. But there are some people that, it sounds really bad, they want to stay stuck because they want to moan about what's going on and what's not going on and things like that. And that's just people. But the ones that the go-getters, as they used to call them, the go-getters will make the difference and they'll take the effort. But like I say, you're only famous, if that's a word, the famous in your industry. When you've wrote a book, you can become globally famous. There's loads, start with why, Simon Sinek. There's so many people, Elon Musk, who wrote things, and they didn't mean to be, obviously the information is there to give to people, but they didn't realize the impact that it had on people, because people have a missing piece to the puzzle and they'll read a book and go, no way, that's it. And it's usually the simplest of things, but that's the difference between expertise, and again, if you've been in a job anytime really, and then you put it in, it's the authority that comes, and I can't stress it, a book, and it's not just because I'm a publisher, it should be the foundation of every single business, but by far, because it does last eternity, and people.
A book is forever, and so much of what's on the internet is just fleeting and temporal and disappearing.
Yeah,
the book is forever.
It really is.
It kind of holds its own kind of credibility that's different than a blog on the internet or something that just gets lost on the internet and disappears.
Yeah. And also as well, so, a lot of people, the number one fear, even more than dying, is speaking on stage. Now, until that situation happened in 2013, before I wrote my first, real book, I never got asked to speak on stage, and I speak all over the world now, all over Europe, all over America, Vegas, New York, Florida, all over the world, because I wrote the book. Literally, I wrote the book. And I was speaking on stage. No, I don't want to do that, because people who know me now, I'm quite shy. Now, if you're looking at me now, you're thinking, yeah, whatever, but I really am. And I don't mind doing the work and shining the light on you, but just like, let me do, I've won Publisher of the Year a few times. I've never picked up the trophy, Bab, because I don't want it. I accept it and I acknowledge it, and I'm proud of it, but I don't want any of that stuff. So let me put the light on you. And most people are like that. But when you've got a book, it's like they already know. If you're going to go into a meeting, if you send the book, and I send lots of books, hundreds of books, my team do, out to people. So when they call me, they already know about me. They know not all the system, but pretty much all the system. They just want me to clarify by asking a few questions. The book's done the job for you, and that's how our system works. Yeah, other people think, and there are people who write books for ego. I don't really do that, but I've done a few over the years. But no, it has to be used as a business tool, and it really does. And it would change your business. And I don't care what business you're in. It will make a difference if you use it and you use the system properly.
Oh, that's so inviting, and what a compelling invitation. Kevin, as we come to a close, let's drive it home one last time. Authority without recognition is?
I say pointless, but I can't really use that word. No, you've got to have the authority, but it does go hand in hand. It does go hand in hand, The authority, you need experience, but you can be unseen at the same time. But once it's codified and you have got a book, and again with the book, you can put posts on, social media, they go. Even blogs, I've got a blog, and podcasts, they last for so long, but then the more you do, the more down the list you go. But with a book is a book. It's a solid tool that you can use. And that's pretty much it. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, they go hand in hand, and it can drive so much of the content that you make on social media. It's like an anchor in your social media marketing too, that you can use over and over again. What speaking engagements, your website, podcasts, blogs, radio interviews, TV interviews. You've always got that book with you.
Continuity, and you've got to do it. And I always make sure, a lot of people can do one chapter and they can get 50, 100 pieces of information for each, for the blog, for the podcast, and that's it. But it's the continuity, because there's so many, and this is one of the things we do when I have my call, is we look at where they are. And you can go and look at LinkedIn and they've got this profile, and you go to YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and they're all different. So people are going, what is it they do? Because they don't know. But once you close your authority gap and you say, this is me, this is what I do, and this is how I can help people, then that message you plant the seed and it just grows. And as long as the continuity is, it doesn't matter where you go, TikTok or all that. I don't do social media, by the way. My staff do, because I'm not very good at it. But I don't want to know. I'm 60 years old. I don't want to do all that rubbish, you know what I mean? Even though it's very, very, very important. And I'm learning AI now for the last 6 months, and it's just blowing my mind. But that's another story.
Well, we never ever stop learning. I've learned so much today talking to you. So, Kevin, thank you so much for being here. If someone
pleasure.
If someone listening would like to get in contact with you, I just want to confirm and clarify, can they get that book? Can they book a clarity call with you?
Absolutely. If you want to book a clarity call, and I don't even like saying it, but people stick, and I've gone on calls, you probably have, Bab, when you go on 5 minutes and all of a sudden they're selling to you. I guarantee it won't even be brought up. I want to find out where you are, where you want to go, and I'll put the bit in the middle for you. And that is it. So, if you go to babystepspublishing.com, that's my website. But everything is Baby Steps, whether it's LinkedIn/Baby Steps Publishing, and Instagram, all of them, they're all the same, Baby Steps Publishing, right the way across. And that's what I'm saying about continuity. Whether you look at my website or you go into LinkedIn or Instagram or Podira or anything, they're all the same. You're not going to get a differing message, because my message, and it's took me years and years and years and years to make sure I got it all right. And now with the help of ChatGPT a little bit, it's even more streamlined. So, anytime, if you book, take the quiz. I have a quiz which is it closes your authority gap. It's right at the top of my. Just click the link, fill your name in, and there's about 6 or 7 questions. Answer it, and by the end of it, you'll know what your purpose is, and you won't have an authority gap. Now, automatically, when I do that for people, they'll go, "Okay, well that was simple. I'll have a call." And this is what I'm saying is I use what I teach people. I'm not one of these, and there's plenty of them out there that say, "Oh, do this, do that," and they don't even do it themselves. Everything I teach people, I do in my business, and I don't do nothing else, just what I teach people.
That's incredibly powerful. That's
Thank
an
you.
incredibly powerful promise as well. Book a call with Kevin, and at the end of it, you'll know your purpose. And it's true. I've had several calls with Kevin. I highly recommend everyone reach out, book your clarity call with Kevin Long from Babysteps Publishing. And if you've enjoyed this episode today, then please like and subscribe on Apple or Spotify, or of course, YouTube. And Kevin will have all of this in the show notes. Wishing you all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens in moments like these. Wherever you are in your personal journey, honor it. If this episode meant something to you, share it, leave us a review, and stay connected for more conversations that move us forward. Until next time, I'm Barbara Lapointe, and remember, keep healing forward.